Welcome back. You're watching Political Exchange and I'm Karima Brown. My guest today is South Africa's Labour Minister, Mildred Olifant. Minister, you are part of the Interministerial Committee that has been dispatched to deal with the crisis at Marikana. You've just participated in the Cabinet Lekgotla. Tell us what you briefed the Lekgotla on in terms of where you are at, both in terms of the short-term issues but also the longer-term issues to try and get stability at Lonmin.
What is happening, we've discussed the issue as the Interministerial Committee, that one, myself and Minister Susan Shabangu, we have to focus on the labor issues, particularly because Minister Shabangu is the Minister for Mineral Resources. They deal with the issue of the social living conditions. So we have discussed that with the industry as well. We have briefed the cabinet about that. And also that we are focusing at bringing that stability in that particular area. And I've informed them about the meetings that I have with the unions at different levels, because I started meeting with them as individually, and then we decided to say, let all of us meet together, including the management of the mining company. And I must thank the leadership of Minister Collins Chabane, because he was able to say, let us put ourselves in different task teams so that we can deal with particular issues. And I must say, when we arrived there, the situation was really, really tense. And we're looking at how we can assist these poor people to lay their loved ones peacefully. And myself and Minister Shabangu and Minister Mthethwa were tasked that we have to meet with the company to go through about the assistance in terms of burying those who has passed on. And we wanted to know what the company has made for them. And I must say also, on top of that, the government decided to assist those communities, particularly in terms of, you know, our traditional funerals in most of the cases, where you will have to put food and everything. And also during because some of them, they were not sure whether they are their relatives that are there. Minister Arun Motsoaledi and Minister Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma had the responsibility to go in that mutual, what do we call it?
To the families?
Yes, to assist them to identify their loved ones. And that process was done. And social development as well assisted them in terms of counseling, and also in terms of looking at what are the challenges that they're faced with, and with all the preparations as well. So I must say, we really appreciate the families, because they were saying thank you very much to the government. And they have seen that we really care as the government. And
but Minister, you were accused, particularly the Labour Minister was accused of bias because of the tripartite relationship with COSATU, of which NUM is a member. AMCU felt that you were particularly hostile toward them, that because they're not a COSATU union. What have you done to allay their fears that as the Minister you are impartial and that you will give them a fair hearing and that they will be part of the process?
If I was not partial, I was not going to meet with them, because they don't have a membership at Lonmin. But I said, as the Minister of Labour, I'm looking for everybody, irrespective of the political party that they are affiliated to. And I must say, firstly, I want to thank the president of NACTU, because we're unable to trace the leadership of AMCU. And the president of NACTU said they are affiliates.
Minister, let me get this clear. You were saying you were unable to find the leadership of AMCU.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Because what they've done when they registered, they just put their number of the office. But we're phoning their offices and nobody was answering the phone, up until we received a call from the president of NACTU saying, AMCU is their affiliate, because I said I want to meet with the management of the company and the unions that they have signed agreement to explain to me what the agreement entails. And because my understanding was that they have a multi-year agreement which ends up next year in October. And then I met with that particular management. And then that's where I got an SMS that, why did I leave AMCU out? I said, no, I wanted the unions that have signed the agreement. But you have assisted us because we heard that AMCU is saying their members are the ones that are on the mountain. And that is why also, after having the discussions with them, we get some information where the president of AMCU said the ringleaders are 2 members from AMCU and 2 members from NUM. But when I met with the workers said, no, we are not represented by AMCU nor NUM. But even then, I said AMCU is going to be part of the discussions. In our first meeting last week, Wednesday, AMCU was there. They had the discussions, and they requested to go out and have a caucus, but unfortunately they didn't come back to report back. But all the stakeholders, including the workers, came back to report about the discussions. And then the following day, because workers said they request that they have to go back to the mountain and report to those workers. And on Thursday, AMCU was also there, and everything went well, the discussions went well, and also all parties were given the opportunity to go and have their caucuses.
But Minister, if everything went so well, why did AMCU not sign this peace accord, nor the representatives of the workers' committees that claim that they are independent of both NUM and AMCU?
The workers has requested that they need to go back and report and get a mandate to sign. So we're waiting for the response from the workers. AMCU said they are not going to sign, but they are going to be part and parcel of observing the negotiations. The reason, that is my assumption, is that it's because, one, we have said we are not going to allow them to negotiate on behalf of the workers, because the workers has made it clear that they are not the members of AMCU. And also in terms of the Labour Relations Act, AMCU is not a recognized union at Lonmin mine. So that is my assumption, that is why they don't want to sign that peace accord. But I will also request them peacefully that they must sign, because when we're talking about the peace accord, they were very happy about that, and they make even some proposals on how we should deal with that particular issue before we even met with the workers. So this thing of peace accord, it was discussed in that broader meeting where AMCU was present and they contributed. And I believe that they have to be, they must really sign this part of peace accord, so that when we move on, everybody should be on board.
Minister, now, of course, the President has established the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into trying to get to the roots of the problem, trying to see what fueled the crisis. How is the Department of Labour and you as Minister going to participate in that Commission of Inquiry? Are you going to be going before the Commission? Exactly what role are you going to play?
It will depend. If the Commission say, can you come and assist us on what were you informed about the situation when you arrived, we will do so, because the workers have said these are the reasons why we have decided to go out and say we demand this 1, 2, 3, because the other unions didn't listen to them. And then they will take it from there, because we'll be open to say who has briefed us on this particular issue, what AMCU has said. We will also say to the Commission, this is what AMCU has said, this is what NUM has said, and Solidarity and UASA and the management. And then I believe that if then that will assist the Commission, we are happy to be to participate there.
Some people who are watching the labour environment is suggesting that perhaps out of this commission will come potential changes to the Labour Relations Act, particularly around the issue of atypical work. Minister, are we likely to see any changes in the labour regime, apart from the amendments that are currently before Parliament, as a consequence of what happened at Marikana?
Yes, I really have that confidence that some of the issues will be dealt with in terms of the labour laws that are currently before Parliament. Because when I was discussing the issues with the workers, I asked them whether all of them are directly employed by Lonmin. They said no, 10,000 is directly employed by Lonmin, But some of them who were there representing the workers, they said they are not employed directly by Lonmin. I was asking that because I said I need to get a clarity whether some of them are employed by private agencies or they are employed by subcontractors. They said they are employed by subcontractors, and some of them are employed by private agencies. And I said then that's where the challenge is, because the Lonmin can just account for those that they have employed directly, but in terms of those who are employed by subcontractors, Lonmin can't dictate to that subcontractor to say this is how you have to employ the workers. But in terms of the current proposal that are before Parliament, they are saying as long as these people are employed by the subcontractor but doing the very same work that is done by the direct employed by Lonmin, then the salary must be equal. So that is what we are trying to deal with the situation.
And Minister, there's been a lot of focus on unions and unions needing to take responsibility, but very little has been said about the behavior of platinum companies. Now, the benchmark report that has come out painted an incredibly bleak picture about the practices of platinum companies, particularly in relation to the poor communities. From your perspective, from where you are sitting, what is it that the platinum companies have to do differently so that we don't have situations that give rise to the kind of desperation that we've seen in Marikana?
I have asked about the issue of the living condition of the workers. To say some of them are coming out of the Northwest Province. What have they done for that particular issue? Because they have to make sure that they get the accommodation and they must stay in a proper accommodation. The company said they have flats in Northwest, but some workers decided not to stay there, but they are getting 1,800 as a living out allowance. And those who are staying in those flats, they are getting lesser. So, in other words, what is happening there, in fact, they don't even own those shacks that are there, but they are renting into those people who owns those shacks. So those are the challenges that we're dealing with. But the person that is responsible for social living conditions is the Minister of Mineral Resources, because in terms of the mining charter, those issues are there. So we said she must look at that. But during the discussion with the platinum industry and gold industry, we have said there is a charter they have signed. How far have they implemented them? And I have said to my colleague, after this particular issue, she has to go through with the industry as a whole, so that we need to follow up. Why are they not doing this? Because it's their responsibility. They have made that commitment. So, you know, the challenge is that I have a certain powers that I'm responsible for, and the Minister of Mineral Resources also has the role that she has to play, particularly when it comes to the living conditions.
Well, Minister, certainly change is looming large in South Africa's labour relations. Lots to still talk about. This issue is going to be something that will be with us for a long time. That's where we will have to leave it for tonight. Join me again tomorrow for another edition of Political Exchange. I'm Karima Brown. Goodbye.